welcome to my channel, the Mild Feminist channel, where we talk about all things feminine wellness, sexual wellness, all sorts of really fun stuff. If you could, please subscribe to my channel. That would really help me out, as well as like the video. That would also help me out a lot. It would really mean a lot to me if you could do that. Then I could continue to make more videos like this, as well as if you would like, I'd love to hear from you too. So if you could comment on the video and let me know what you would like to see in these types of videos, what you think of my videos, though please be nice because I am kind of sensitive. But I'd love to hear from you, so drop this video a comment and a like. So moving on to the topic of the day, are you ready? Drum roll please. Menstrual cups. And I've got my liquid courage with me today, in order to be able to film myself right now. I'm still kind of new at this, so, you know. But anyways, for today we're going to be talking about what a menstrual cup is, the benefits of using one, how to pick the right size, and all the different types of menstrual cups that there are, or at least some of them. If you want a detailed tutorial on how to use a menstrual cup, like how to put it in, how to take it out, how to clean it, all that jazz, skip on over to my next video. And I have all that for you in the next video. That one gets in detail on how to use it and all that fun stuff. This video is strictly just informational about menstrual cups. So with that, let's get into this business. All right, so first we're going to talk about the benefits of using a menstrual cup. I really love using a menstrual cup. This is kind of all I've ever really used in the last number of years. I really love them, and I firmly believe that if you gave it a shot, you would probably really like it too. It really changed the way I view my period, and I really don't hate having my period anymore, so that was kind of life-changing for me. One of the biggest benefits of using a menstrual cup is the environmental impact that it can have. There's tons and tons of tampons and pads and all sorts of not good stuff just floating around in our oceans and in landfills and taking up space on our earth that really just shouldn't be there. Using a menstrual cup can really eliminate a lot of those issues and make a huge impact on how we treat our earth, really. The next thing is toxic shock syndrome. Toxic shock syndrome is a bacterial infection that has been linked to tampon usage. It can happen by wearing a tampon for too long, or even just over years of use of tampons. I've seen and heard stories of people developing toxic shock syndrome just from using tampons, even though they use them correctly. In my opinion, I just think tampons are not the safest option for you. So I feel like this is something that can eliminate that. You can leave these cups in for hours. They say up to 12 hours. And that really makes it easy for, day-to-day use. You're not having to constantly change it out, and you're not having to worry about the type of things you're putting into your body. The next benefit that I really feel like was life-changing for me in using a menstrual cup was how much blood these cups can hold. All the cups are different, they hold different amounts, but generally a menstrual cup is going to hold anywhere from 20 to 32 milliliters. If you think about it, a tampon only holds 5 milliliters. So that's a significant amount. It holds way, 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 way more than a tampon ever really could. So you're having to change it a lot less, and it makes it a lot more convenient to use one while you're on your period. On a side note, one of the things that I hear frequently from people that are leery about trying a menstrual cup is that they're worried that they're gonna feel the menstrual cup, because it looks a little large to them. It's a lot larger looking than a tampon is. So people get really weird about the size of it, and they feel like they're gonna feel it inside there all the time and it's gonna be annoying to them, and that's just not the case. It's like a tampon where you don't really feel a tampon. Sometimes you feel the string, but that's not really something that you need to be concerned about with these cups, because there's not a string hanging out. For the most part, you really don't feel these cups inside of you, which is really, really nice. Why don't we move on to talking about the different types of menstrual cups? There's tons of different kinds floating around out there on the internet and in stores, but mostly on the internet. They're easier to find on the internet, but There's some cups out there, which I wouldn't really recommend. The ones that I'm talking about today, I've heard really good things about from people. I've seen them a lot on the internet. They're recommended to me. They have good websites. They're all made of medical grade silicone. They seem to be ones that would work well for most people. So those are the ones I'm going to be talking about today, and I'll leave links for all of those down in the description so that if you wanted to purchase one of the ones that I'm talking about, you can. Just make sure you also look into them and make sure that it's something that you would want in your body. But now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty of this video. We're going to start talking about the different types of cups that there are and the brands that I would recommend for people to try. One thing I'd like to point out is that I don't own all of these cups. I do own 2 of the kinds I'm going to be talking about, although I could only find one of them. My other one I'm pretty sure is in storage somewhere. I just haven't used it in a while, so I won't be able to show you that one, but the one that I do commonly use, I'll be able to show you on camera, but the other ones that I don't have with me right now or don't own, I'm going to be showing you just a picture of them and we can talk about them that way. I would eventually like to get all these different types of cups, but I just haven't been able to do that yet. But I want to do reviews and tutorials on those cups as well, so stay tuned for those eventually. First in our lineup of cups, we're going to talk about Diva Cups. So Diva Cup has been around for a really long time. They're kind of the ones who led the way in this menstrual cup movement, I think. They've really streamlined how their cup works, and it's really common to find them. You can even get them in some stores. They're really easy to find, and they have other sizing options that other brands just don't have. That's embarrassing. You can see that this cup is shaped sort of like a bell, I guess is the best way to describe it. That's the kind of shape that you're going to see on most menstrual cups, is that bell type of shape. And the way that those cups work is by, when it opens up, it forms like a suction on the vaginal wall, and that's how they stay in. But what that means is that they don't go that high. So it wouldn't even go really as high as a tampon would go. It just sits right inside the vagina. It doesn't even reach the cervix really, unless you have like a lower cervix. They may even, like the little tube at the bottom that's called the stem, that may even stick out just a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit. So that makes it really easy for you to get them out. As well as for people who are like concerned about your cup getting lost up there. That's not really a thing that you need to worry about. One, your cervix would prevent anything from getting lost in your vagina. But the other thing is that they just don't go that high. One thing you'll see about this brand, the Diva Cup, is that their cups are clear, which is nice. You can see how much you're bleeding a little bit easier than the colored cups. But the one thing about them is that they stain easy because it's like sitting in blood all day. That's literally its job. So it's going to absorb some of that color and get a little bit brownish in color, which is fine. You shouldn't bleach it or anything like that. Just let it be stained. It's just how the cup operates. They don't recommend trying to get the stain out or anything like that. Another really convenient thing about these bell-shaped cups is they hold quite a bit more blood than, like I said before, than like a tampon does. So you don't really have to change it that often. Most people just change it in the morning and then again at night, and that's all they need to do. So you're not like having to constantly run to the bathroom to like change it out really quick, because it'll hold for the most part a full day's worth of blood. For some people who have like a heavier flow like I do, my first couple of days are pretty gnarly. But the nice thing about it is since it does hold a lot more blood, I maybe only have to empty it like in the middle of the day. So like morning, midday, and then at night, which to me made a huge difference because before when I was using tampons, I had to change my tampon like 7 times a day, and that was just super annoying. So this is just a lot more convenient for me and really anybody else who has a heavier flow or even not a heavier flow. It's just significant how less often you have to change your cup. You can see the Diva Cup has a really short stem. On some other cups, you'll see that they have a really super long stem. The ones that have the really, really long stem that's like an inch long, I'm not really sure why they have those cups. Those are ones that I've seen that maybe I wouldn't really recommend. From my understanding, those cups go quite a bit higher onto the cervix and can actually suction onto the cervix, which can be kind of scary for some people, especially if you're having trouble breaking that suction. You can kind of like panic a little bit, like, oh my God, I can't get it out. So that can make it a little bit trickier to use one of those cups. So I would recommend a cup that has a smaller stem like this Diva Cup. One of the really nice things about Diva Cup as a brand is they're the only company that I've really been able to find that makes a size for teens. It recommends people under the age of 18 can use their size 0, whereas most other companies just have a size 1 or 2. But Diva Cup was kind of, like I said, they're leading the way in a lot of these menstrual cup type products. So they were kind of, as far as I'm aware, I may be wrong about that, but as far as I'm aware, they were kind of the first ones to come out with a size for younger people, like teenagers. Okay, so the next cup that we're going to be talking about is the Tulip Cup. The Tulip Cup is a brand that I just found online. It's not really a super mainstream one that I've seen frequently. However, it's one that I would still recommend. I've used cups for quite a few years, so I know exactly what I'm looking at. I know what is good in a cup, so I felt comfortable still purchasing it. And I wanted to share it on this video just because I think it's a really interesting type of cup. The reason why I think it's an interesting cup and I thought it was still important to share was that one, you can see that it's still a bell type of shape, but one thing you'll notice is that the stem down here is quite a bit bigger than the one that I just showed you, the Diva Cup. The reason why it's bigger is that it actually has this really neat little feature on it. It has like a valve inside of it so that you can pinch this valve and then it will release the blood from the cup without you having to take it out. So if you're having like a particularly heavy day or you just in general have a heavier flow, if you are one of those people that has to empty your cup midday, then this might be one that you would want to try. It's neat because then I don't have to take it out to empty the blood out. I just go to the bathroom and I can squeeze this little guy and I can get most of the blood out of the cup. So if I'm like running around running errands and I'm in public, or if it's like the middle of the night and I have to go to the bathroom and I feel like I need to empty my cup, because that's something that happens at night. I tend to bleed a little bit more at night, but then I can just squeeze some of the blood out without having to take the whole cup out. So it's a lot more convenient and in my opinion maybe a little bit more sanitary, like if I'm out in public. So that's just a really nice feature of this cup, so I thought it would be a fun one to share with you. The next cup I'd like to share with you is called the Flex Cup. This is a cup that's pretty readily available. You can find it in a lot of stores, like Target carries it, which I think is pretty neat. The other thing is that I thought it was an interesting one to share because it has this other neat little feature, which we'll talk about in a second. But the one thing that you can also notice about it is that it's black, so it doesn't stain like some of the other cups, like the clear ones that we've talked about. So that might be appealing to some people. But the biggest thing about this cup is that it has this like string kind of idea to it. I think this like string type thing is an interesting idea in a cup. I think there is definitely a target market for that. And this string that it has on it, this like quote unquote string, it works similar to like a tampon. You would pull on the string, and how it works is it would break the suction for you. Like I said before, these bell type cups open up against your vaginal wall to form a suction on it. And how you would pull it out is you have to reach up into the vagina to pinch the cup and pull it out. But these flex cups kind of eliminate that type of thing. You would just have to pull on the string and it folds the cup in for you, and then you can pull it out and empty it into the toilet, which seems like a really convenient idea. Initially, when I saw these cups, I was a little bit like, why? Like, why do we need that? Because I thought that the string like hung out outside of the vagina like a tampon string does. But after researching a little bit more, I learned that that's not the case. You actually put it up a little bit farther than some of these other bell-shaped cups. So it does go a little bit higher into the vagina just so that that string isn't hanging out. So the string part would be right inside of the vagina, and then the cup is just a little bit higher. So that seems a little bit better to me, because I was like, why would you want this like stiff like silicone string hanging out of your vagina? But since that's like not the case, that's not something that would deter me from using it now, and now I'm a little bit more interested to try it. So I think if that's something that's appealing to you, like being able to just pull on this string and not having to reach up and pinch the cup and pull it out, this one might be one that you should seriously consider. On top of the fact that it's black and it doesn't stain, that seems like kind of nice, I guess, though the staining doesn't really bother me, but for some people that's a big deal. So this one might be one that you would want to give a shot. And last but not least, we have the Nixit cup. This one you can tell looks quite a bit different from the other cups. There are other cups like this one. This is just one that I've seen a lot of, and it looks decent to me. But the reason why it looks so different is that this cup actually goes up into the vagina quite a bit and around the cervix. So this one doesn't sit just right inside the vagina. This one goes all the way up. So if that's something that you're not into, like reaching all the way up into the cervix, then this one may not be the one for you. Though I think it's a neat idea. The reason why I think this cup is pretty neat is that, one, you don't have to worry about sizing, which we'll talk about sizing, because the other bell-shaped cups, you need a specific size for your body, but these cervical cups, that's not really something you need to worry about. So that could be appealing to a lot of people. Another really interesting detail about these like cervical cups that I think is kind of a winner, but I haven't tried it yet, so we'll see. But something that I think is really important about this cup is that they say on their website that you can have sex with this cup in. Since it goes all the way into the vagina and around the cervix, and it's kind of shaped like a cervix, it's not supposed to cause any discomfort while having sex. So that's a really neat idea, because a lot of people don't like having sex on their period. But if that's something that you would like to do, have sex on your period, then this might be something that could be appealing for both parties. The one thing I will say that I don't love about these cups is I could see an issue with getting them in. Since they go all the way up around your cervix, some people may have issues with that. Like myself, I have a tilted cervix, so it can be really hard for me to get these types of cups in. Though I'm willing to try it just to see. I'm more comfortable with going up there and like putting cups in now, so maybe it would be something I would give a shot and it could work out well for me. Though for some people that this just may not be the right fit for them, because I will say, if it's not in just right, if it's not around your cervix and sitting the right way, you could leak all over the place and it's like it could just cause a huge mess, and that may not be something you would want to risk until you really know what you're doing with cups and how your cervix is shaped and where it sits. So that may be something to think about. So eventually when I purchase one of these cups, I can't wait to do a review on this just so that I can give people good information on how to put these types of cups in, because I think that these really could be life-changing to a lot of people, especially the like having sex with the cup in. That could really be pretty nice for a lot of people. So those are all the cups that I'm going to be talking about today. Like I said, there's tons of different kinds out there. Those are just the ones that I feel like are notable and worth talking about, and ones that I think that people could really enjoy and should maybe try. But now I'd like to move on to how to choose the right size for you. As I talked about before, these like bell-shaped ones, you have to choose a size that's going to work well for you. The main thing about choosing a size is that most major companies only carry 2 sizes other than Diva Cup, which I mentioned before. They have a size 0, and that's for like teenagers. But generally other companies are only going to carry size 1 and 2. And basically the difference between the two is your age and whether you've had a baby. Under the age of 30, you're going to be typically going for a size 1. And then if you're over the age of 30, you're going to probably want the size 2. The only discrepancy is if you've had a baby vaginally, then you're probably just going to need to get size 2. Well, I think that's all I have. So I hope that was informational for you and educational. Like I said before, if you would like to have more information on the details of putting in a cup and taking out the cup and how to clean it and all that jazz, shoot over to my next video, the one after this, and that has all of those kinds of details in it. As I said before, I would love, love, love for you guys to like this video, subscribe to my channel. That would really help me out in making more videos, knowing that you guys would like to see more of my videos. As well as please comment on this video too. If you have any questions, I'd love to talk with you guys about this stuff, and I'd love to hear what you would like to see. So please comment what you would like to see as far as future videos. Some of the other things I'm going to be talking about are like sexual wellness kind of stuff. That's something I love to talk about, and my husband's going to be joining me in some of these videos, which is kind of funny to think about. But also I'm going to be talking about like fertility stuff, natural birth control stuff, pregnancy stuff. I'm a doula here in Denver, Colorado, so reach out if you are looking for a doula, because I'd love to be able to help you out. So with that though, I think that's about it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!